cinematic experience for me has to sort of look, has to be kind of easy. It's almost relatable to animation. I've got friends that make animation, and when you talk about the hand, the drawing and the time lapse and all of the work that goes into creating just 1 second. But for them, when it's all finished, it has to be seamless, and you just watch it and it just goes like that. And that is what their skill is, and in a way, I think, as filmmakers, a lot of background work should be somehow put into the back, and what should be just on the surface is the story. So, if we look at the film, the first sequence is always a question, it's always a dilemma, it's always a big choice of how we start the film. Usually, that sort of shot actually comes towards the end of the process. Build the body of the film, get the end of the film actually in place as soon as possible, because if you don't really have the end, you don't really know what you're working towards structurally. Well, that's why I was kind of keen to know who they were and what they wanted. I always kind of ask at the beginning, you know, what are you interested in? Because we could just talk about commentary all for 2 hours, or we could talk about editing for 2 hours, we could talk about casting for 2 hours, we could talk about, you know, how to become invisible within a family, within a filming, within a scene. We could break certain scenes down. So it's a matter of understanding where they're at really, and if they're, you know, interested in making films in my style, then I suppose it helps them and it enables them to. If they're not interested in making films in my style, I think it still maybe probably informs them, because I think even if you don't make them in my style, you still need to be prepared to give such a strong commitment to something over such a long period of time to get a result, really. I didn't know anything about Syria, I was just attracted to it. So I spent those 9 months looking for a character, living there and learning about the place, and actually self-examining what is the story here. Then I met Amma one night, and he looked at me quite cynically and almost gave me a challenge. As this British guy making a film over here, he said, "You want to make a film about this country? Come and film me." Because when you're making a film, you're actually looking for somebody that's going to open the door to somewhere and take you in. That you're not peering in or trying to push your way in. You suddenly got someone that's saying, "Come with me." So in a way, you're finding a character but a collaborator. They're not acting for you, but they're enabling you. They're taking a risk, they're stepping into a space. You feel, as an audience, when you're watching the film, you can feel that you're in the hands of some kind of confident adventurer, someone confidently with a camera going somewhere. Whatever style of film and wherever that film is. I've become a bit more free in the way I approach it, a bit more anarchic. When I was looking at the Yemen film today in the masterclass, I was looking and thinking, gosh, it's all sort of, it felt like shooting from the hip. And the whole thing kind of came about by not even getting permission from the BBC. I just went and did it. So it was quite a radical film in many ways. And I suppose I try to do what I teach, which is to sort of absorb yourself in the experience of the process of the making of the film and allow that to shape the style of it. And it's because you're involved, you are a participant, you are almost a member of the family. You know, they're in there asking me my opinion as Sean, not as the guy making the film. So they're looking beyond that camera and they're looking into you, and you know that gives you an incredible kind of intimacy. And also, you know, you have a technique and a dynamic at talking to people, at asking the right question, and then stepping back and filming responses, and knowing when to ask a question, knowing when to shut up. You know, you have a responsibility if you take yourself to a place to make a film, and then suddenly something else starts to happen. You kind of then, as a Western witness, with a responsibility. What integrity means, I think it's basically the grounding principle of all filmmaking, really. It's what you have to do. Well, you find your own integrity, I think, when you find your voice in filmmaking. For me, it's all down to casting and finding the right story, finding the right characters that you can get involved with, and through a relationship make a film. Actually, someone was just interestingly telling me downstairs before I came here that they found themselves defending me. She was defending me. And I said, what were the people saying? And she said, oh, it was your technique. They didn't approve of your technique. And I said, well, what? The camera was too wobbly. I didn't have a tripod, or all of these usual things that people get upset about. It looks unprofessional. Good, but it wasn't that. They said the camera was too close. Like there's certain rules of filmmaking, and her response was, "There's no rules in filmmaking." Well, it's been an incredible little family affair, really. I mean, it's like a cosy little community of people that all come together, that are all from, feels like a big, all spread all over the world, but it's a really small family, and it's a beautiful gathering of like-minded people that you can, feel like you've known. I've only been here a couple of days. It feels like I've been here 2 weeks. It's just a very warm, charming festival full of passionate films and passionate people. And its setting is just something else. The food, and gosh, what else can I say? It's wonderful. I wish it was kind of going on a bit longer, really, and I was here for another week.